Members, we have the distinct honor of having Representative Paul Anderson to present House File 2103. Representative Anderson, if you want to move the bill before the committee and introduce yourself and talk about your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and also Chair Acom. This House File 2103 could have a huge impact in many areas of our Minnesota economy. It would have a direct impact in agriculture, as farmers could choose green fertilizer as a way to reduce their carbon intensity scores. The bill would be a catalyst in the growth of the green ammonia industry, and the software this bill would help create could generate and track credits that could be traded worldwide as companies, especially right now today in Europe, seek to reduce their carbon scores. This bill could also help our state and the Iron Range as more work is being done in the new area of producing green steel. And Mr. Speaker, or Mr. Chair, I would have an amendment to offer at the time, the DE1 amendment.
Sounds good. Representative Anderson moves the DE1 amendment to your bill.
Thanks, Mr.
Is there
Chair.
any discussion? This is to get the bill in the shape that the author would like. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Representative Anderson, your bill as amended to be possibly laid over into omnibus
Yes,
bill.
Mr. Speaker, and just quickly, what the amendment does is it adds a pretty good carrot in the amendment, beginning at line 1-2, to give a rebate to Minnesota companies. If we're going to help to fund the development of this software, Minnesota companies who utilize the system could get up to a $500,000 rebate with the amendment that's put forth here today. Members, it's a pleasure to introduce House File 2103, the Minnesota-Made Ammonia Act. As you know, Minnesota farmers and farm communities are sometimes hard-pressed because of soaring prices and the erratic price volatility of ammonia fertilizer, which is used in many crops produced in the state. The reality is that the out-of-state ammonia fertilizer costs are both too high and in many times too uncertain. Right down the road from my farm, actually, about 20 miles away, more than 10 years ago, scientists at the University of Minnesota in Morris and the West Central Research and Outreach Center pioneered a method of producing ammonia fertilizer using the wind, using solar and hydro and other renewable sources. Really pretty exciting. Advances in technology and the 45V federal tax credit that U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson is choosing to preserve now allow this local production of ammonia to bring stability and certainty to prices and relief to Minnesota farmers. A Minnesota-based nonprofit technology organization, MRETS, has the expertise to expand the U of M's proven pilot program well beyond Morris and match every ton of ammonia production with renewable energy facilities located throughout the state and the region, enabling ammonia production to run nearly around the clock. House File 2103 is a prudent and one-time appropriation to MRETS for development of the software system that's needed, and it'll roll out the red carpet to distributed ammonia companies who are building facilities in Minnesota. MRETS technology will provide an auditable record for every ton of ammonia produced with renewable energy. These records, called ammonia certificates, are a new and valuable commodity for Minnesota farmers and farm businesses to sell in a robust domestic market, much like the RINs today are done in the renewable fuels area. For example, sustainable aviation fuel is one of the specific examples of buyers interested in securing certificates for corn and other agricultural feedstocks grown with locally produced ammonia. And while ammonia's primary use may be agriculture, it also has applications in the iron mining industry, and in maritime as a shipping fuel, and in the new gensets to produce electricity, possibly for proposed data centers here in Minnesota. And with local and regional electricity as a primary ingredient for locally produced ammonia fertilizer, farmers will gain certainty and control over costs. Mr. Chair, And members, I encourage your support of House File 2103.
All right, thank you, Representative Anderson, and I believe you have brought some testifiers with you. I'm not sure what order you'd like to go, but we do have Rob Davis with MRETS, and then Rachel Stuckey with the Minnesota Conservative Energy Forum. If you would like to introduce yourselves and just talk about and give us your testimony. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair Swazinski, Madam Chair Acom, members of the committee. My name is Rob Davis, and I serve as Chief Growth Officer for the Midwest Renewable Energy Tracking System, or MRETS. Governed by a board of directors, including utility executives, regulators, and electric and RNG industry experts, we were founded in 2007 as a public benefit entity similar to a chamber of commerce and serving a specific purpose for our state: to verify and to track clean and renewable energy. With direct visibility to the production meters of thousands of generators throughout MISO, whether hydro, RNG, wind, solar, nuclear, we provide the auditable record backing up public claims. MRETS supports Senator Anderson's bill, House File 2301, appropriating funds that we will use to hire software developers, engineers, business analysts, and others to create a registry for ammonia produced locally with electricity. This registry for ammonia certificates produced by local distributed ammonia facilities will act in a similar fashion to MRET's existing registry for renewable energy certificates, or RECs. Now, a recent report in the international journal Nature Food stated, decentralized ammonia production is particularly promising in regions heavily reliant on imports, distant from production facilities, or where high-risk profiles make large-scale projects difficult. Areas with high transportation and distribution costs, such as sub-Saharan Africa, or regions like Minnesota in the United States, where long-distance transportation inflates fertilizer costs, are prime candidates for decentralized production. Chair Swazinski, Chair Acom, members, you know ammonia prices are high when Minnesota is being compared to sub-Saharan Africa. Last summer, energy think tank RMI published a report titled Roadmap for Distributed Green Ammonia in Minnesota. To my surprise, the report mentioned MRETS in its policy recommendations section. The report stated, Minnesota is a prime candidate for initiating the inaugural wave of distributed ammonia projects, and Minnesota stands poised to spearhead the advancement of distributed ammonia projects, heralding a paradigm shift in the Midwest and potentially in other regions of the United States. Economic issues are important issues for Minnesota farmers. This bill is an opportunity not just to advance innovation, but to also bring stability and certainty to an area of significant cost and uncertainty by encouraging local production of a necessary agricultural commodity. I urge your support for House File 2301, and thank you for your consideration.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Davis, for your testimony. And with that, we have Rachel Stuckey from the Minnesota Conservative Energy Forum. If you'd like to give us your testimony, introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chair Swazinski, Chair Acom, and committee members. My name is Rachel Stuckey, and I'm the Executive Director of the Minnesota Conservative Energy Forum, or MNCEF. We advocate for a market-based, all-of-the-above approach to energy in Minnesota. I am pleased to be here to share our support for House File 2103 as amended. Minnesota is uniquely positioned to become a national leader in the emerging green ammonia and hydrogen economy, as we already possess the necessary infrastructure, resources, and expertise to move forward decisively. By building upon the current MRETS tracking platform, we can establish a framework that encourages private sector investment while ensuring market transparency. This approach recognizes a fundamental economic principle. Markets function at their best when all participants have access to trustworthy information about their transactions. Adding ammonia and hydrogen tracking will create substantial economic benefits throughout Minnesota by reducing our dependence on imported products and incentivizing new markets. This investment will attract significantly greater private capital, generating returns statewide and lowering input costs for agriculture, mining, and potentially more industries. Representative Anderson's amendment guarantees that Minnesota's businesses and farmers will have a competitive edge in this emerging market. By building crucial bridges between our energy infrastructure, industrial operations, and agricultural sectors, this approach strengthens Minnesota's entire energy ecosystem. We stand at a rare moment where a targeted investment can position our state as a national leader, attracting private investment creating jobs, and building the foundation for decades of economic growth. We encourage you to support this forward-thinking investment in Minnesota's economic future. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Representative Jones, do you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Representative Anderson, for bringing this to the committee. I think this is a really interesting bill. I first want to say, we need ammonia for nitrogen fertilizer. I actually studied agricultural and biological engineering, so just want to put that out there that I recognize the importance of having these types of resources for agricultural community, and really excited about the opportunity to make that greener, and I think this could help with that. One thing I wanted to note. For the end uses, I would caution and maybe want to maybe have further conversations around making sure that we're not using ammonia for the electricity production. We lose 83% of the energy when we go from producing it from clean energy to storing it in ammonia to then producing it to then using it as energy. We have such great losses there, and so I don't think that's necessarily the greatest end use. But that being said, my question is actually more around the rebates, the $500,000 in rebates. Would that go to the end use business? So would that be like a firm? Can you just help me understand that a little bit more?
Mr. Davis?
Absolutely. Chair Swazinski, members, thank you for your question. And the rebate would go to the entity that registers with Midwest Renewable Energy Tracking System and indicates they are a Minnesota business. So that would likely be, in many ways, in many circumstances, the owner of the production facility.
Representative Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the production facility being someone who has the electrolyzer and then the clean energy. Okay, that's helpful. I guess that's it. All right, thank you.
Representative Kraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So building on that, I'm very interested in this. As you know, I'm a co-author. But this rebate, it seems to be written that there's only one rebate that's going to be issued for $500,000. Can you delve more? I mean, that's what it says. Must issue a full on-bill rebate to a Minnesota business. So it's one rebate? Is the business identified already? It's just kind of odd wording.
Mr. Davis or Representative Anderson?
Go ahead.
Chair Swazinski, Representative Kraft, the intent and aim of the language is to say that entities that register within the MRETS system will become customers of MRETS, and then as they are issued and retire certificates, that incurs fees that we assess to that organization, and then we assess the rebate. So as they incur fees, and use the system, then we rebate or credit their right on the bill. So they might transact on a number of energy certificates or ammonia certificates, and then retire those ammonia certificates, and then we would refund that amount right there on the bill.
Representative Kraft?
So it wouldn't be one check for $500,000. It would be as it goes.
Representative Kraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is, I guess, is the way to think about this, is this for early movers who are using this to reduce their cost of participating? Is that correct? And then if so, I would suggest we need to change the wording on this because it reads right now as one business. And while you're there, just one other question on I'll ask for time efficiency. In the reporting, it says that you'd provide a report detailing the number of green ammonia certificates issued in Minnesota. Would that be, would we see all the green ammonia certificates issued, whether or not they were used in Minnesota or somewhere else?
Mr. Davis?
Chair Swazinski, Member Kraft, Representative Kraft, correct. To your second question, we would report on all of the ammonia certificates issued in the state of Minnesota, whether it was a Minnesota business, an out-of-state business, or anything. Any renewable energy, any ammonia certificates issued in the state of Minnesota would be included in that report.
Representative Kraft?
Mr. Chair, sorry. And my first question was, am I right in thinking about this, that this is a way for early movers that start using this system to have a lower upfront cost of using the system? And then if I'm right, then I would say, this being laid over?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Then we need to just work on the wording here.
All right,
Chair
Representative
Swazinski,
Davis?
Representative Kraft. The language and the credit does have the effect of advantaging early movers. That said, it is also intended to ensure that when we assess one fee on the entire region, so our system is accessible throughout the Midwest. So there might be entities that would be, generating ammonia certificates in other states. We recognize that the state of Minnesota is fronting this money, and so we are returning those dollars back to the Minnesota entities as a way of making sure that other states are effectively paying an equitable share for the resource.
Representative Kraft, any follow-up?
No.
All right, any other questions for these testifiers? Do we have any members from the public that would like to testify on House File 2103? Oh, sir, if you'd like to come to the table, introduce yourself to the committee and give us your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Co-Chair Acom, and members. My name is Dale Lutz. I'm a retired chemist. About 2006, when my older grandson was about a year old, I watched Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth, seeing what the buildup of greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide was going to do to our climate and our planet. I realized that my grandson could be alive in the year 2100, and I couldn't bear the thought of him looking back and saying, you saw this coming and you didn't do anything about it. Since that time, I've been working on ways to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide, greenhouse gas in the atmosphere, including working on several Department of Energy contracts that are related to electrolysis and the processes that are involved in producing the green ammonia and other green feedstocks. Ammonia production currently is one of the largest producers of carbon dioxide greenhouse gas. At some point, I will inherit the family farm from my 98-year-old mother, and I want to use green ammonia to show my grandsons that I care about the world that we're living in and that we're leaving to them. I ask for your strong support on this, and I'm happy to answer questions now or offline. There's a lot more to the story.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the member from the public? Sir, would you just spell your name for the record, just so we could,
Yes.
just for our minutes that will be approved next meeting?
Last name L-U-T-Z, first name Dale, D-A-L-E.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Cool. All right. With that, any other questions or comments? Representative Anderson, to your bill.
Thanks again, Mr. Chair. Just to follow up to Representative Kraft, as I read the amendment, there could be a total of $9 million in rebates. It says the total amount of rebates may not exceed the amount of the appropriation. So this could be, a rebate could be utilized by several companies. And one last final comment, Mr. Chair. Representative Jones mentioned who would be doing something like this. You know, the Commerce Bill and the Ag Bill 2 years ago had an incentive for co-ops to apply to make green fertilizer. And there was one application from out in my area, and it was 11 or 12 co-ops that got together and applied for this grant from the state. So it's my opinion that it's going to be on the farm, on the grassroots companies getting together who are currently buying fertilizer from Saudi Arabia, all over the world, and then shipped up the Mississippi River or trucked up to our location. We're at the end of the pipeline supply for a lot of these fertilizer products. So if we could produce this regionally and locally, it would be a stabilizing effect. And I've seen some price points, and the price point would be very competitive, if not more so than commercially produced. And we're saying ammonia, Mr. Chair, and actually we're talking nitrogen for the corn in large measure put on is anhydrous ammonia, which is just nitrogen NH3 without the water in it. So again, Mr. Chair, I would ask members to support 2103. It's an exciting piece of technology, and we could be a leader in this area. So thank you, Mr. Chair and members.
All right, with that, House File 2103 as amended is laid over. Thank you, Representative Anderson.